Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to game number 20 of the 2020 Hayes Larks season. It's a matchup between your Larks and the Colorado Springs Outlaws. Leading it off for Hayes will be Grant Lung against the pitcher, Jason Sugar, for the Colorado Springs Outlaws. 1-0 is the count on Lung, and it moves to 1-1 as Sugar paints the outside corner. Grant is today's leadoff hitter after leading off yesterday and playing second base. Same spot for him tonight. He'll be followed by Jeminian, Divis, and Pearson. Same pitch, this one outside, 2-1. Sugar on the mound for the Outlaws, plays for the Air Force Academy. He's a righty with a short stature, versing against the second baseman from the University of Sioux Falls, and Grant works his way into a hitter's count, 3-1. Sugar this season has made 7 appearances now. With this one, has an ERA above 10 with a whip at 2.8. The 3-1 is hit over the right side. Rizdal moves to his right, throws to Scholes at first base, and Lung is out on 5 pitches to start the game here from Colorado Springs. 1 up, 1 down for Hayes. We move to Leo Jeminian, tonight's center fielder. Righty versus righty as Jeminian makes his way to the box. Last night, Leo went 0 for 4, but he picked up 3 walks and scored a run. His first pitch is a fastball inside, 1-0. Larks are on a 1-game winning streak. They're 13-6 on the season. Outlaws are also on a 1-game winning streak, and Leo has his count knotted up at 1-1. Outlaws are 15-18 on the season, behind the Larks in the RMBL standings. Strike 2 called on Jeminian. He's down the count 1-2. Sugar has started now 5 games. He has 3 appearances in relief. He struck out 22 and walked 18. His 1-2 delivery to Jeminian is off his hip, and Leo will be aboard with 1 away. Leo leads the Larks in hits by pitches, and that is number 5 on the season for Leo. Got plunked 3 times in the first doubleheader of the season against the Pirates, and now leads the league single-handedly and leads the Larks. He's a speedy center fielder, and he's at first base. He leads the Larks in stolen bases. He's the only guy in double digits. Pitcher for the Outlaws will have to keep an eye on him. To the plate now is Wyatt Divis, tonight's DH. First delivery high and outside, 1-0 with 1 away and a runner on first base. Divis yesterday went 2 for 5, picked up a walk and a strikeout. Larks again going through their first 3 left, right, left, and Divis pulls this one into right field. It'll drop in front of Bates. 2 straight base runners for Hayes. There's 2 on with only 1 away. Jeminian on second base. Divis at first. We move to the cleanup hitter, Cameron Pearson, who will dig into the right-hander's box. Yesterday, Cam, if I can find his stats from last night's game, but on the season, Cam is having a great year. He's batting .371 with an OBP of .429. First delivery is over the plate, level of his knees for a called strike 1. And Cam pulls this one into left field. It's a base hit. He went 2 for 5 last night, scored once and drove in a run. He moves everybody up 90 feet, and the bases are loaded with 1 away after back-to-back singles for your Hayes Larks. Jeminian on third, Divis at second, Pearson at first, Truslow to the box. Grant Lung started out the inning grounding out. He's a lefty. We went to the righty Jeminian, who got hit by a pitch, then to the lefty Divis, who singled, righty Pearson, who singled, and now lefty Truslow to the box. Big Truss yesterday, 1 for 4 with a run scored, picked up a walk. In game number 1 against the Saints, he had a 3-run shot. With the bases loaded, Sugar goes from the windup, delivers a fastball low and outside, 1-0 on Truslow. Defensively, for the Outlaws, it's Olsen, McKee, and Bates in the outfield, Gregory, Ambiel, Risdall, and Scholes in the infield, and Dedrick behind the plate. Turf field here in Colorado Springs with a dirt mound. Larks sporting their gray road pants, red jerseys. Outlaws sporting gray pants with a black jersey. 2 straight balls to Big Truss. Truslow got some defensive rest yesterday, picked up his first start at the DH spot this season. He's back on the field playing first base today. The 2-0 delivery to the 5-hole for Hayes is right down the middle, and Truslow is just a bit early on it. Makes good contact, sends it hard to the right side, but it's out of play. Count moves to 2-1. Larks won yesterday against the Saints 8-2 after 8 innings from Drew Burr, where he struck out 8 guys and didn't have a single earned run. Zach Furniture came in the 9th inning and finished it off for Hayes. Sugar shakes off a couple pitches from Dedrick and will go from the windup, righty versus lefty. Truslow reads it and sends it down the line on right field side, but just before it crosses first base, it rolls to the right of the foul line, 2-2. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 1 away. Every base has a guy on it. Runners return to the bases. Truslow back to the box and Sugar back to the mound. Waits a sign from his catcher, shakes one off. Gets the second one, gets his grip, and goes from the windup. The 2's delivered to Truslow. He swings on an outside delivery, grounds it slowly to the third baseman, who looks at Pearson, decides not to throw to second base and go for the out at first. Truslow is out on a G5, but he picks up an RBI and Jeminian scores. Pearson to second, Divis to third. There's now 2 outs. Pearson's speed saved the Larks from an inning-ending double play. Larks up 1-0 now against the Outlaws. For Truslow, that is RBI number 17 this season, and Leo just scored for the 19th time this year. 2 away, 2 on, both in scoring position, and the first delivery to Matt Cavanaugh is off his helmet. He'll be aboard with 2 away, bases again loaded, the second hit by pitch of the inning for Hayes. UTA Mavericks in the corners. Cochise College left fielder is at second base, and Cameron Pearson. Now to Palmer Hutchison, the third baseman. Got aboard a couple times last night off of singles, and then had a home run to left field, a solo shot that put the Larks in front, and then the Larks coasted the rest of the way. First delivery to him is off the turf, 1-0. Second delivery to Hutchison misses low, 2 balls and no strikes to the 7-hole. 7th guy the Larks have brought to the plate this inning. 4 have reached off of 2 singles and 2 hit by pitches. Third delivery gets by the catcher, rolls to the backstop. Wyatt Divis moves 90 feet to the plate. Pearson to third and Cavanaugh to second base. Larks up 2-0 as Divis scores again this year. 3 balls and no strikes with 2 away to Palmer Hutchison. Wyatt just scored for the 18th time this season. That is third on the team. It's a 4-pitch walk for Palmer Hutchison, and he is aboard for the 4th time in the past 2 days. That's walk number 10 this season for the Kansas City, Kansas Community College third baseman. Bases loaded again, 2 away as we move to the 8th hitter of the inning, the catcher, Jacob Wyeth, who's headed to LSU to play for the Tigers this fall. Kavanaugh in second, Hutchison at first, Pearson at third base. Larks have seen the ball well off of Sugar and have gotten 2 hits, but they've been aboard 3 times off of 2 hit by pitches and 1 walk. We'll see what Wyeth can do here as he digs into the right-hander's batter's box versus the righty. 0-1 delivery, misses the zone, down low, 1-1. Taking the mound for the Larks in the bottom of the inning will be Rustin Hayes, picking up another start. 1 ball, 1 strike, 2 outs. And the Larks are up by 2. Swing and a miss from Wyeth. He's down the count, 1-2. Due up for the Outlaws in the bottom of the inning will be McKee, Wigington, and Gregory. Wyeth gets some time and he'll dig back into the turf batter's box. His 1-2 delivery is a fastball. He checks, swings. And they'll say he went on the check swing. That'll end the inning. Wyeth down on strikes. Larks leave 3 on, but they get 2 off at 8 batters. And we move to the bottom half of the first. Larks up by 2. Baseball. America's pastime. A sport we've been long awaiting to come back. The sport we've missed dearly. But tonight, that waiting ends. No more empty stadium. No more lifeless fields. Tonight, everything changes.
English rounds, third, heads home, he'll score, walk-off single for Wyatt Divis. Grand slam for George Sutherland. It's the first home run of the season for De Leon.
The Larks are back in action. The best show in town returns. The landmark where icons have played. Tonight, Larks Park is back. This team is more than baseball. It's part of this community, a staple of our town. Generations gather together. The fans, the players, the coaches, all come together to this diamond. All come together for this team. All a part of this remarkable experience. Sure, we have a lot of fun. But legacy is built right here in the Great Plains. See, there's something special in Hayes, something distinct in this city. With history dating back to 1869, a history of success, 29 MLB products, 4 MLB All-Stars. That outstanding tradition returns tonight. Tonight, the Larks return to action. Tonight, baseball is back. Bottom of the first we go here from Colorado Springs. Rustin Hayes to the mound, picking up appearance number 5 this season. His 3rd start all in a row. It's his first look at the Outlaws this season. Has made appearances against the Pirates, Cougars, Rough Riders, and Collegians. His first pitch is in the zone on a knuckleball for a called strike 1. His second knuckleball misses low, 1-1. Rustin, a knuckleballer from Hector, Arkansas, loves his knuckleball. At one point last year in a game, he threw that knuckleball on 70% of his pitches. This one is a changeup that misses the zone outside. 2 balls and 1 strike to leadoff hitter Bryce McKee, the center fielder. Rustin, a righty, delivers a fastball in the zone for a called strike 2. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Rustin likes to go overhand. Sometimes he'll drop his arm and go sidearm, and sometimes he'll split the difference, go 3/4. This one more sidearm as it misses the zone, and then we get a full count. McKee, the center fielder, plays at the University of Colorado, Colorado Springs. Rustin Hayes shakes off 3 signs from Wyeth, and his payoff pitch is a knuckleball grounded to the left side. Hutchison dives for it. It gets past him, and there's a leadoff single for the Colorado Springs Outlaws. Now we'll move to Kit Whittington, the DH, for the Outlaws, batting in the 2 spot. Defensively for Hayes, it's Pearson, Jeminian, and Cooper in the outfield. Hutchison, Cavanaugh, Lung, Trussell in the infield. Jacob Wyeth behind the dish, and Rustin Hayes to the bump. Check over at the runner, not in time. McKee just singled for the 26th time this season. He has 27 hits. The other one is a double. Another check. This time McKee is back in safely before the ball hits Trussell's glove. Wigington at the box didn't play in the Larks series at Larks Park when the Larks swept the Outlaws. He's down the count 0-1. Wigington this year batting .347 with an on-base percentage of .448. Righty versus lefty. Rustin goes from the stretch, outside off speed, 1-1. On deck is Riley Gregory in the hole, Justin Olson. Larks up 2-0 here in the bottom of the first. Another check over at McKee, not in time. Larks had 2 hits in the top of the inning, walked once, hit by 2 pitches, got 2 runs and left the bases loaded. 1-1 is off Wyeth's chest protector. Runner moves 90 feet into scoring position. Not often that Jacob Wyeth allows balls to get by him or to the side of him without getting a runner out. It's been great for the Larks defensively along with the other catcher, Max McGuire. 2-1 reads the count as Rustin will deliver pitch number 4 of the at-bat. It's a changeup grounded over the right side, past Truslow and past a sliding Grant Lung. 2 straight singles off of close plays in the infield. They put runners on the corners with nobody out in the bottom of the first. We'll move to Riley Gregory, the third baseman, in the 3-hole. Gregory batting .351, has 11 RBIs this season. He's the third baseman for the Outlaws, as Rustin Hayes checks over at the runner Wigington on first. He's back in safely. This is game 3 of a 4-game road trip for the Larks. Played 2 games against the Game Day Saints, split the series, and they'll have 2 games against the Outlaws. Changeup is sent up the middle on a fly ball to center field. Leo Jeminian ranges back, makes the catch. Runner tags up at third base. It'll be cut off by Matt Cavanaugh as the lead is cut in half. Sacrifice fly for Gregory, scoring is McKee. Gregory just picked up RBI number 12 this season. And for McKee, that is runs scored number 20. To the box now is Justin Olson, the left fielder out of the College of Southern Nevada, righty versus lefty. Russ takes a second to compose himself, looks over his shoulder, delivers sidearm, and it's sent in the gap on the right field side on the ground. Cooper fields it, throws in. 3 singles this inning for the Outlaws, put 2 on with 1 out. Wigington at second base, Olson at first base. To the 5-hole, Alex Bates, the right fielder out of the University of Colorado, Colorado Springs, has played in all 3 games against the Larks this season. It's righty versus righty as he makes his way to the batter's box. Righty versus righty. Rustin again takes a set to compose himself and goes from the stretch. Knuckleball drops low, 1 ball and no strikes. On deck is Toby Scholes, in the hole, Braden Dedrick. Russ gets set on that dirt mound, delivers sidearm, and it is off the turf, 2-0. Larks pitching coach Keith Harper did not make the trip for Hayes, so if the staff decides they want to go out to the mound and have a talk with Rustin Hayes and get him some composure. It'll be Frank Leal make his way out of the dugout. 2-0 to Bates with 1 away and 2 on. Third pitch is over the inside part of the plate on an off speed, 2-1. Rustin will still have 2 years of eligibility left when he returns to college. Took a year off and gets a foul ball over the right side, 2-2. This is Russ's second full year at the Larks. Led the team last year with 53 innings pitched, striking out 43 guys in 5 starts and 13 appearances. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 on, 1 away in the bottom of the first. Larks up 2-1. Russ gets his grip and gets his sign from Wyeth. Goes from the stretch. It's a knuckleball outside, and it's a full count. Each team has scored in the first inning. Larks had 2 hits, and the Outlaws already have 3. Righty versus righty. The 3/4 delivery from Hayes misses high. It's a walk, and 4 base runners now have reached for the Outlaws, and the bases are loaded with 1 away. Rush just walked the 9th guy this season, has struck out 11, has an ERA of 2.8 and a whip of 1.5 through 13 innings. His last appearance was against the Collegians on Friday, July 10th. Picked up the start, went 6 innings, and got the win. 1-0 to Toby Scholes, the first baseman. Scholes plays for the Colorado School of Mines. Larks had 2 guys from the School of Mines last year on their roster, in Mikey Gangwish and Nash Neff. 2 balls, no strikes on the left-handed first baseman. This is the 6th guy that the Outlaws have brought to the plate. The bases are loaded with 1 away. Russ delivers, and it's inside. 3 balls and no strikes. In high school, Rush struck out 100 guys, had an ERA of 1.24 in his senior year, and then committed to Arkansas Tech University, then played for William Baptist, and then didn't play this last year. Hitters count after this one's in the zone. Hitters count for the 6-hole first baseman. Rustin Hayes goes from the windup. It's an outside off speed, and he walks in a run, his 2nd straight walk, and the game is tied. Jacob Wyeth wants to have a chat with his pitcher as the bases are loaded with 1 away. We'll see if Rustin can do what Sugar did for the Outlaws in the top of this inning and leave the bases loaded. Jacob and Russ face the outfield fence, have a chat, and Wyeth moves his way back to the plate as Dedrick makes his way to the batter's box. Right infield playing deep against the righty. Left side of the infield in the corner, Hutchison plays in. Kavanaugh about splitting the difference between Long and Hutchison in terms of distance from the plate. 0-1 after this one's fouled back and off. Russ waits barely any time and delivers from the windup a 2nd straight foul ball. No balls and 2 strikes with 1 away. Due up for the Larks in the 2nd inning will be Cooper, Long, and Jeminian. Righty versus righty. Pitch number 3, knuckleball inside, moves late, 1-2. Outlaws have 3 hits, 2 walks, a sacrifice fly, 2 runs scored. This one high and inside, 2-2. Picking up the RBI was Scholes, and scoring was Kit Wigington. Olsen at third, Bates at second, Scholes at first. The 2's delivery behind him, full counts. For Toby Scholes, he just picked up RBI number 10 this season, and Wigington scored for the 18th time. This one's popped up into center field. Leo Jominian calls off Cameron Pearson, and Matt Cavanaugh throws in home as the runners tag up but stay at their base. Rustin Hayes wins this at bat, and there's now 2 away with the bases loaded. Good job for Leo Jominian calling off 2 guys racing towards him at the ball. Could have been a dangerous situation if he had not been vocal about getting that one. We move to the 8-hole, Justin Risdall, the second baseman. Risdall batting .268 with an OBP of .375. Has 6 RBIs and he has 2 in scoring position along with a runner on first. Fouls his first pitch out of play. Second pitch misses low, 1-1. One's delivery in the zone. Nice frame from Jacob Wyeth. Russ is up in the count. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Russ made his first 2 appearances in relief. He's allowed 12 hits this season and has 4 earned runs. This one is a little bit high over the inside part of the plate. 2-2. Russ has held his opponents to a batting average of .267 and has a full count after 2 straight balls. He'll go from the windup with every base touched. Runners take off and the payoff pitch is inside. And they'll say that was ball 3 as the runners took off, but then they just go back to their bases as now the count is full. Larks defense slow to react to that one as they thought it was an RBI walk. Confusing situation. The teams are trying to figure out what happened as runners are on every base as they'll say it was a walk for Risball. Bates is at third. Olsen scored. Guys overran their bases, I guess is what happened there. This one hit at Palmer Hutchison. He snags at the third base side and touches the base to end the inning. Outlaws get 3 and we move to the second. Larks down by 1. Top of the second we go here on Larks Network. Leading it off will be the bottom of the order, Sean Cooper. After the Outlaws get 3 in the first, topping the Larks 2, it's Sugar back to the mound versus the bottom of the order. Cooper lays down a bunt, it rolls to the left side. He sprints to first base as Sugar tries to get a grip on it. He'll be aboard with a base hit to start the second inning. First time Cooper has laid down a bunt that was not a sacrifice one this season. He is aboard to start the inning. Top of the order to Grant Lung. His second look as Sugar. Lung started out the game grounding out to Rizdal. Dominion on deck. Divis in the hole. The first delivery to Lung. He pops to the left side of the field. Olsen moves under it and secures it for out number 1. 2 up, 1 down, a runner on first in the top of the second. We move to Leo Dominion, who got hit by a pitch in the first and then came around to score. Leo gives his signs to Cooper and Dominion. We'll see if Sean wants to take off and get a stolen base. Is among the team leaders in stolen bases this year. He does take off, and the throw to home plate on the pitch is wildly outside. It's off the turf. Cooper is in scoring position without a throw. Stolen base number 7 this season for Cooper, at second on the team behind Leo Dominion, who's at the plate, and he has 11. 1-0 on the center fielder from France. This one inside and high on a fastball, 2 balls and no strikes. Divis is on deck. Pearson is in the hole. The 2-0 to Dominion off the turf. Sean Cooper gets looked at as he heads to third base off of a passed ball. The throw to second base, when they try to throw him out, he reads it well, starts heading to third. When the throw heads to second, the ball rolls into the outfield, and he rounds third base from the sign from Frank Leo, and he scores from second base, and that puts the Larks back in this game. We're tied up in the second inning. 3-0 on Dominion as Sean Cooper scores for the 15th time this year. Leo takes this one all the way. 3-1 hitters count for the center fielder. 1 away, base is empty. Tied up at 3 in the second. The hitters count pitch to Dominion below his knees off the plate. 5-pitch walk for Leo. Second time he's been aboard with no at-bats and no hits. Another speedy runner for Hayes to the base paths. Dominion aboard at first as Divis makes his way to the plate. For Leo, that is walk number 15 this season. That is 3rd on the team. Divis to the box. He singled in the first inning and then came around to score the second run of the inning and the last run of the inning. Leo takes off. The throw is going to be way late as he slides in. Feet first. 2 in scoring position this inning for Hayes, both off of stolen bases. It's an 0-1 count on Divis with a runner in scoring position. Stolen base number 12 this year for Dominion. Righty versus lefty. Sugar will go from the stretch as he gets Dominion caught between the base paths as he looks at him and looks him back to the bag, and Dominion stays put, tries to outrun him and get Sugar caught off guard. He gets tagged out and he heads back to the dugout for out number 2. Base is empty after that one. It's an 0-1 count to Divis with 2 away. Sugar shakes off one, nods at the second one, goes from the windup to the lefty Divis. It is off the turf. 1-1. Divis throws right-handed on the mound and in the outfield, but bats in the left-hander's side. Third pitch to him in the zone over the plates for a called strike 2. He gets his sign from Dedrick and will go from the windup now that the bases have been cleared. Divis sends it up the middle on a line drive. It bounces in right center field as McKee gets to it. Divis is aboard for the second straight inning on 2 singles. Had Leo been at second base still, he probably could have scored on that one. Instead, there's a runner on first with 2 away. Sugar has an opponent batting average of .311, and when balls are put at play, that opponent batting average moves to .500. First pitch to Pearson popped up in the middle of the infield. Moving in is Rizdal, and he secures it for out number 3. Larks get 2 hits, steal 2 bases, and get 1 back in the top of the second. We move to the bottom half. Larks and Outlaws tied up at 3.
Hey Larks fans, click that subscribe button. It's completely free. This isn't like a magazine subscription or a TV subscription. You won't get billed, you won't get spam emails, but you will help us reach our goal. Right now we're at about 600 subscribers, but we're trying to reach 1,000 subscribers. We have thousands of views from this season, but only 600 subscribers. Make sure to subscribe when you're watching if you haven't yet. When you hit that button, the Larks will show up in your subscription section of your account. That's it. No fees, no payments, no registration or information. Share the Larks YouTube page with your friends and tune into our broadcast. Thank you for watching our YouTube channel, supporting the team, and subscribing. The Larks have the best fans and we're grateful for Larks Nation. Now, let's get back to the game.
Bottom of the second, top of the order for the Outlaws. Rustin Hayes back to the mound. Throws a ball low and outside. 1-0 on McKee, who started off the first with a single, came around to score. 3-3 game in the bottom of the second from Colorado Springs. Changeup from Hayes, misses high, 2-0. Rustin, in his last year of NCAA baseball, made 12 appearances, went 1-8 with an ERA above 7. The last year with the Larks had an ERA just above 3 with a whip at 1.23 and an opponent batting average of 187. Larks fans, make sure you follow the Larks on Twitter and Facebook. Subscribe on YouTube. Handles are on your screen. This delivery from Russ misses high and inside. A 4-pitch walk to start the second. Walk number 4 on the day for Russ. Both innings, the Outlaws all started off with a base runner in Bryce McKee. We move to Kit Whittington, who singled in the first. Runner at first. McKee gets a little lead. Rustin looks over his left shoulder, throws home. It's a fastball low. 1-0. Rustin struggling to find the strike zone, unlike him. Rustin walked just 21 guys last year for the Larks when he went 4-3. Played for the Larks in 2018 in the NBC tournament. And tries a pickoff move that's not in time. Will stay at 1-0. Wigington, the DH, versus the Larks today. Both teams on a 1-game winning streak. Runner takes off from first. Wyeth gets to his feet. The throw is going to be in time as the throw was on the his left side of the bat. Kavanaugh moves his glove across and gets the runner out. A nice throw from Jacob Wyeth clears the bases in a 2-0 count. For Jacob Wyeth, that is the third guy he's thrown out trying to steal this season. 2-1 is grounded to Grant Lunk, who moves to his right, fields it in his left-hand glove, and throws to Corbin Truslow. 2 up and 2 outs in the second. Two-way base is empty in the bottom of the second as we move to the 3-hole. Riley Gregory 0 for 0 on the day with a sacrifice fly and an RBI. Rustin will go from the windup versus the righty. Throws a knuckleball in the zone for a called strike 1. Gets a sign from Wyeth, goes straight to the windup again. This one a changeup that Gregory is way ahead of. 0-2 count. Third pitch of the at-bat is lined to Palmer Hutchison. Takes a bad hop on him and moves past his body as Gregory moves to first base. It'll be an E5 for Hutchison as the runner's on with 2 outs. Also look to bounce back after that one to the cleanup hitter Justin Olson. 1 for 1 the day with a single and a run scored. Both pitchers have thrown a lot of pitches through their first 2 innings and have 3 runs scored on them, but the bullpens are silent, showing that the coaching staff trusts their guys to get their composure back and finish out the game. Off speed from Rustin Hayes moves outside late, 1-0. One and 0 runner on first. Hayes goes from the stretch versus a righty, throws one low. 1-0 becomes 2-0. Russ takes a deep sigh and will check over at the runner on first, not trying to get him out, just letting him know he's aware of him. Sliding back in safely as Gregory. Olsen at the plate, Bates on deck, Scholes in the hole, Gregory at first base. The 2-0 is a fastball that's popped up and back. Jacob Wyeth throws the mask, moves back to the wall, and it's behind the press box. After the foul ball, count moves to 2-1 with 2 away. Due up for the Larks in the third will be Truslow, Kavanaugh, and Hutchison. Size looks over his shoulder and gets a whiff out of Olsen. Count knotted up at 2-2. A nice pitch from Hayes. Rustin's a 6'5" northpaw from Hector, Arkansas. 2-2 count, 2 away in the bottom of the second. Knuckleball over the outside part of the plate, paints that bottom outside corner, and picks up strikeout number 1 on the day and sends us to the third inning, tied at 3. Top of the third inning we go from Larks Network. Leading it off will be Corbin Truslow in a tie ball game. Big Truss on the day, 0 for 1, grounding out to Gregory for out number 2 of the ball game back in the first inning. Paul Sugar back to the mound. Pitched 5 and 2/3 innings for Air Force this last season. In his freshman year, he'll still have 4 years of eligibility left after the condensed season. Pitch number 1 is a fastball off the shin of Truslow. He takes it and moves to first base for the first time today. Back to back. Ooh. Back-to-back hit-by-pitches for the Larks in the third inning. One off of Truslow, one off of Kavanaugh. And there's 2 on with nobody out as we move to Hutchison. That's the second time Kavanaugh has been plunked. We're joined now in the air by the man in last night's ballgame, went 8 innings, 2 hits, and 1 walk. It's Drew Burr. How we doing today, Drew?
Feeling great. I mean, glad to be back on the field. Hopefully get another win today, so feeling pretty good.
Good to hear as Palmer Hutchison flies out. 1 away, 2 on in the top of the third inning. So 0 earned runs yesterday. Only allowed 3 hits. Got the win, number 2 of the year. How you feeling moving forward after that?
I felt really good. I mean, that's a good momentum thing. I mean, here recently, I've been feeling like I've been throwing the ball well, but haven't been getting necessarily great results. And yesterday it was good to finally see the results. And so I'm feeling pretty good, and I think we're going to kind of figure it out here, and I'm really excited to see what we have going forward.
1-0 count on Jacob Wyatt is 0 for 1 on the day, striking out to end the top of the first. As a young guy, you just had your freshman year cut short, but your coaching staff here in Hayes let you go 8 innings. I got to feel like that's a nod of confidence to you and makes you feel good on the mound knowing that your coaches trust you.
Oh, yeah. I love that. I love that Coach Leo had faith in me last night to keep me out there when it was close, to have faith in me and let me go as long as I could. And, I mean, that shows a lot to how much they believe in us, and I really appreciate that as a player. I know everybody else on the team does as well, and it just hats off to them for doing a great job.
No doubt. You just dominated last night on the mound. I mean, you were mowing guys down. You had 88 pitches hit the strike zone. Barely any balls. Just showed a lot of consistency and maturity on the mound in those 8 innings before Zach Furniture took over on the rubber. 3-0 count to Jacob Wyeth, who's headed to LSU this summer after transferring from Cisco Community College. You're transferring from St. Louis. You're headed to Bellarmine. You want to talk about that decision?
I've decided I want to be a little closer to home. I mean, St. Louis is probably about 4 hours away, and Bellarmine's probably an hour or so, and I just feel like being closer to home, especially during this pandemic and everything going on, that's real important, and I want to be close to them, and so I feel like being close to home is really what was the driving factor in that decision.
Hitters count to Jacob Wyeth with Corbin Truslow at second, Matt Kavanaugh on first, and Wyeth will walk on 5 pitches. So making his way to the plate is Sean Cooper for the second time today. He's 1 for 1 with a single. Larks put up 8 runs yesterday in a dominant fashion. Came along late in the game, Palmer Hutchinson got the rally going with a solo shot, and the Larks followed it up with 6 runs following that. Anytime your team can give you a cushion of 7 runs like they did head into the 8th inning, it's got to feel good on the mound knowing you got stuff to work with.
Yeah, it was amazing to see that just explode just like that. I mean, it was a 1-1 ball game, and all of a sudden hit after hit, and man, we scored 6 runs in that 1 inning, and it was just felt great, a big relief. I mean, all the pressure's off me now, and I just really felt just go up there and do what I've been doing and throw strikes, and it was great to see the offense get hot like that.
In the top of the 8th inning, the Larks scored a lot of runs. It was a long inning, and sometimes that's a long time to go from pitching from the 7th to the 8th, and that can phase a lot of guys, even in the majors. That gets to guys' heads, gets them out of a rhythm. You didn't let it phase you yesterday. Did you just keep your mindset going from the 7th to the 8th and continue that rhythm?
Yeah, exactly. I was just trying to keep my momentum going, and I knew if I just kept pounding the strike zone and let our defense work, good things were going to happen. And so that's all I really tried to focus on in that 8th inning after that long wait, was just don't try to do too much and just keep it within myself and just pound the zone. And I feel like I did a good job, and our defense did a great job behind me last night, and it was just a great game all around.
It was a great game to bounce back after a tough loss the night before. All cylinders were firing for Hayes, and they picked up win number 13 on the season. They're now tied for the Rocky Mountain Baseball League Conference lead. It's 2-0 on Sean Cooper, the right fielder. On deck is Grant Lung in the hole, Leo Jeminian. Sean Cooper came to Hayes with Cameron Pearson from Cochise College. You made the trip by yourself. Was there any worries about that, or were you excited to get things going back after having your season cut short?
I was really excited after getting the season prematurely cut short with all the corona thing. I mean, it was tough to take, especially my first year playing. Like, I was really looking forward to that. But me being able to go to summer ball was just another thing to be excited about. I mean, it's great to play baseball and get another opportunity to play baseball, even though I didn't know the guys coming in. I mean, I've had a lot of friendships and created a lot of bonds here, and it's just lovely to see that, and baseball does all that.
Summer ball is always much more fun when you're winning, and the Larks have been doing a lot of that this season.
Yeah, it's always great to win. That's all we try to do, is come out, have a good time, win as much as we can, and just play baseball the way we can, and for us, that's winning a lot.
Well, Sean Cooper now has a walk and a run driven in. He also scored in the 2nd inning. The Larks take a 4-3 lead. They've scored now in all 3 innings. Corbin Truslow trots home. He now also has an RBI and a run driven in. Base is still loaded with nobody out for Big Truss. That is run scored number 13 this season, and for Sean Cooper, RBI number 10. One away, Larks up 4-3 against the Outlaws as we move to the top of the order. Grant Lung, who's 0 for 2. First pitch is an outside delivery, slow, 1-0. Sugar looks shaken up as Dedrick will move towards the mound and have a chat. Looks a little out of rhythm, has been struggling to hit the zone. What does a pitcher do there to get back on track?
I mean, for me, all I try to do is kind of go back to the basics. I mean, don't try to do too much. Don't try to throw overly hard or try to make a great pitch. I mean, just try to go out there and pound the zone and let your defense work. I mean, you don't have to do everything on the mound. That's why there's 9 guys on the field, you know. So I just, if that thing happens, I just try to get back in the zone and see what happens.
You talked about it earlier this inning about how the Larks had a good defense behind you. When you have a middle infield of Grant Lung and Matt Cavanaugh behind you, and then speedy outfielders and Sean Cooper and Leo Jeminian back there, gotta imagine it feels good that you're able to do what you do on the mound and trust the guys behind you to do their job.
Exactly. Like when I'm pitching, I don't have to worry about making this spectacular pitch all the time, because I know that I have a great defense behind me, especially in the middle of the field, that if any ball is up there, I have complete confidence in my guys behind me that they'll make a good play. And so that's just a great feeling to have as a pitcher, because then it really, you just focus on pounding the zone, which is really all pitching is.
2-1 counts on Grant Lung, 1 away, bases loaded. In the top of the 3rd inning, his 4th pitch, he fouls back 2-2. Larks snapped a 2-game skid last night. They'll look to pick up win number 2 and continue their win streak here on this road series. Outlaws 15-18, also on a 1-game winning streak. Sugar plays at Air Force, and he's facing against the guy from the University of Sioux Falls. 2 balls and 2 strikes. He goes from the windup, righty versus lefty. Lung grounds out to the other second baseman who has an error trying to convert the ball to the shortstop to get Sean Cooper out at second base. Grant Lung picks up an RBI, and every base is still full after the error, and the Larks are up 5-3. Larks haven't had a lot of errors this season. They have one already today. That's the first error for the Outlaws. And Grant Lung is at first base, Sean Cooper is at second base, and Ryan Reuter is at third, running for Jacob Wyeth as Leo Jeminian makes his way to the plate. Scoring was Matthew Cavanaugh for the first time today. Jeminian sends this one on the ground in the gap to the right side. He singles, and Ryan Reuter scores. It's a 6-3 lead now for Hayes. Reuter scores for the fourth time this season, running for Jacob Wyeth, and Jeminian has his first RBI of the day. Bats moving for the Larks. They're still only one away, and the base is loaded. For Leo, that is RBI number 5 on the season, as he drove in the run on the single, and Grant Lung on that error picked up RBI number 20 this year. He now has 20 runs scored and 20 runs driven in. He leads the team in both categories. 1-0 is the count on Wyatt Divis, who is 2 for 2 on the day with 2 singles, making his third plate appearance in 3 innings. It's the 8th guy the Larks have brought to the plate this inning. Bullpen's starting to move for the Outlaws. It's a righty. The 1-0 to Divis inside. He fouls it over the left side and softly 1-1. How does a pitcher bounce back? Imagine it's frustrating on the mound when there's an error and you could have had a maybe potentially inning-ending double play, but now there's an error and you got to go back to the mound. Does that shake you up on the mound when stuff like that happens?
I mean, you try to not let it bother you. You try to just flush it. I mean, because the physical mistakes happen. I mean, this game's full of failures, so I mean that stuff happens. So you kind of flush it and just try to get the next guy and just try to keep executing pitches and do what you can do. And I mean, your defense will work for you. I mean, that's what I've experienced, and so that's what I try to do. Is after something like that happens, just to kind of move on and can't do anything about it now and go get the next guy.
2-1 count on Wyatt Divis in the top of the third. Larks have scored 3 this inning. They picked up 1 in the last and then 2 in the first. Rustin Hayes on the mound will be back in the bottom of the third. But right now, the Larks will try to get some more runs off the Outlaws. It's a swing and a miss for Wyatt Divis. His count is now 2-2. This is Carson Ackerman on the call on Larks Network, joined by Larks utility man Drew Burr. You have an OBP of almost 400. You've been getting things done on the field, in the batter's box, and on the mound. Is that something you've always been able to do, have success in all places on the baseball field?
I'd like to think so. As growing up, I've always was a big fan of hitting, and that's what basically my main passion was. But as I started to get older, started to throw a little harder. I mean, started to pitch a little bit, and I found success there as well. And then so I was just trying to see, how long I could do it. I mean, if I like to do both, so might as well try to keep doing it. And if I'm successful at it, I didn't see a reason why to limit myself to just one. So that's what I've been trying to continue to do as I've gotten older. And I'm even blessed to do that at the college I'm going to. They're going to allow me to hit and play the field. So I'm really excited for that. And it's just great being able to just play baseball.
Absolutely. 0-1 count on Cameron Pearson after Divis strikes out. It's strikeout number 2 on the day for Sugar. And it's a 1-1 count with the bases loaded and 2 away. This is the 9th guy the Larks have brought to the plate in this inning. There's 2 away, and the 1-1 count becomes a 2-1 count to Cameron Pearson. Pearson from Cochise College has had a hot bat, worked his way up the order, started towards the bottom half of the order this season, and now getting back-to-back starts in the cleanup spot. Sends a pop fly over the press box. The count is now knotted up at 2-2. Cooper at third base. Long at second, Jeminian at first, Pearson at the plate for your Larks. Trussell started this inning out with a hit by pitch. Cavanaugh then got hit, then a flyout, and then back-to-back walks, an error and a single, then a strikeout as the results of the first 8. This one's grounded down the line on the left field side, and the third baseman will slide to third base trying to get out Grant Lung, who beats him to the bag. Good hustle from the second baseman continues the inning as Pearson picks up yet another RBI this season. He's aboard and the bases are loaded. The Larks are up 7-3. Nice hustle from Grant Lung, kept the inning alive. It was a slow ground ball to Gregory. He tried to slide into the bag before Lung did. It was a close play. Umpire ruled him safe, and will continue and bring up the 10th guy in the inning. Now to Corbin Truslow, who started out this inning with a hit by pitch, but grounded out in his first at-bat. Jeminian at second base, Pearson at first base, and at third base is Grant Lung as Truslow is to the box. Truslow already has a run scored and a run driven in. Has a good RBI opportunity, sends one high to center field, and moving back is McKee. He's about 5 steps in front of the warning track and makes the catch. Larks leave the bases loaded for the second time today, and that'll end the top of the third. Larks get 4, and they're up by 4. Bottom of the third we go. It's Rustin Hayes back to the mound, gets a strike called on the 5-hole Alex Bates. 0 for 0 on the day, walking in the first inning. The 0-2 is a knuckleball, a swing and a miss. Russ has a nasty knuckleball, throws it a lot. It's fun to watch, has some nasty movement, takes something off of it, and he loves to throw it.
Oh, yeah, he does.
If you're just now joining us, it's Drew Burr, Larks utility guy, on the mic, and the 0-2 delivery sent up the middle for a single for Bates. He's aboard for the second time today. We'll do what we did last year when we had a player on the mic. I'm not a professional interviewer, so if you have any comments or questions for a Larks player, drop them in the live chat, and we'll try to get them answered here in the bottom of the third with Drew Burr on the mic. Scholes to the box. 0 for 0 on the day with a walk, part of the 3 straight base runners in the first. It's righty versus lefty. Scholes, the first baseman, won't get his first pitch right now as Russ does a check over at the runner on first. You've picked how many guys up this year? 2 or 3?
I think I've gotten 2 so far. Yeah, picking off's a good feeling. Like when you make a mistake, a guy gets on base, but then you get to kind of erase that real quick. Makes you feel a lot better. And that was just something I don't know why, I've had like some quick feet, and that always results in a good amount of pickoff. So I like to show it every now and then if I get lucky and get a guy out. It's a great easy out, little free one almost, and take that and use that little momentum for the next batter.
Well, you're the only guy on our roster that's picked off multiple guys, and I talked about it in last night's broadcast, how quick you were able to move from the mound to first base and keep the runners aware of who's on the mound, and you did a great job of managing situations last night. You had a leadoff runner in scoring position about halfway through your day. Didn't let it phase you, and you kept him at second base, getting the next 3 guys out.
Yeah, After giving up that leadoff double, our middle did a good job with me with mixing looks and stuff, so he didn't really have any opportunity to take an extra bag, and all I had to do was focus on just throwing strikes and getting guys out, and that's what we did, and it was just a great job, a whole team effort there, and it was just a great win all around yesterday.
Absolutely. A 2-1 count to Schools with a runner on first. Rustin Hayes had a 3-run first, bounced back in the second in a scoreless inning, delivers an off-speed that misses inside, a hitter's count for the 6-hole. This is the Outlaws' second time through the order through the first 3 innings. Larks up 7-3 in a hitter's count on Schools. Russ looks over his shoulder at a small lead at first base and has a 5-pitch walk. That is number 5 on the day for Rustin. 2 on and nobody outs in the bottom of the 3rd inning here from Colorado Springs. Russ stands at 6'5" on the mound. They say pitchers, you want a taller pitcher on the mound, but you're not as tall as Russ, but you still had a good outing last night. And, Marcus Stroman's whole thing is heart doesn't measure height.
Exactly.
So, disproved the stereotype last night and got us a win.
Yeah, I wasn't gifted with a lot of height. I'm probably like 6'1", maybe 6'2" with cleats on. So I just go out there and I don't let the height, define who I am as a pitcher. And I'm just going to go out there and just attack guys and compete. And Marcus Stroman's exactly right. Your height does not measure how much heart you have in the game. And I try to go out there and do my best every single time.
A sacrifice bunt from Dedrick moves both runners 90 feet as there's runners on second and third and 1 away in the bottom of the 3rd. It's Bates on third, Scholes at second, Rizdal to the plate. He walked in the 1st inning. Rustin will look to bounce back here, get these final 2 outs, and leave 2 in scoring position. He left 2 on in the 1st inning, and then again in the 2nd. His first pitch, a slow off speed, misses low, 1 ball and 1 strike with 1 away. One and 0. Russ will go from the stretch inside off speed 2-0. I talked to you about this before on our last road trip, but for the viewers who weren't a part of that conversation, so what was your decision to come to Hays and spend your summer in north central Kansas after playing in Missouri and from Indiana?
Yeah, well, my coach at SLU is really good friends with Coach Leo, and he actually got a little connection there and got him talking to me. And then he talked to me about how great the atmosphere is at Hays, which he's exactly right. Playing at Larks Park's incredible with all the fans there and the whole environment. And so that really just kind of drew me in right away, and I was just excited, and I wanted to go somewhere and kind of get away from home a little bit, go see the country, and this is a great opportunity for me to do that. I've never been out west, so Kansas is a little different thing, but I love it out there so far, and it's just a great experience, and it was a great decision. I love it out here in Hays, and overall, I'm just glad Coach Leo reached out to me and would like me to be a part of his team, and just a great time.
The inside pitch on a hitter's count delivery is fouled to the backstop, full count. You're one of 2 Billikens that the Larks have had over these past 2 years. Last year, we had George Sutherland, who played at Cochise and then went to St. Louis. Do you have much of a relationship with George in Missouri this last year?
Yeah, actually, George, I ate breakfast with George every day, and and we would talk about Hays because I knew I was going there. I'd ask him how it was, and he was telling me how great it was, and so that just got me even more excited for the summer. And he's talking about how great the coaches were, how great the fans were, and he really was a big recruiting thing. He got me interested and excited in Hays, and ultimately that's why I chose to be here. It's just fun.
Larks seem to have a lot of fun on the field, not taking themselves too seriously as they're picking up wins. That's strikeout number 13 on the season. There's now 2 away and 2 on, an 0-1 count to Hayden Ambiel, 0-for-1 day with the ground out. So you said you ate breakfast every day with George. The whole running joke last year was about how much Sutherland could pack down every meal. Dude would spend so much money whenever we'd go to restaurants. We always made jokes about it. Did he have that same appetite in St. Louis?
Yes, definitely. That dude would have 4 or 5 plates for breakfast. I'm like, dude, man, we're just starting the day. He's like, I always got to eat. That guy was always in there just smacking food. It was incredible. But he's not even that big of a guy, and he definitely ate a lot. And
Ooh, a close play at the plate. Jacob Wyeth's tag had it hit the runner, would have been in time. Instead, it's a 2 RBI single for Ambiel. The lead is cut down by 2, and the Larks lead by just 2. 5-7 lead as Frank Leo makes his way to the mound to have a chat with Russ and Hayes. Drew, what do you think they're talking about right now?
I think he's just telling Russ, maybe calm down a little bit. I mean, come get this last guy. And actually, I think it might be Russ's day. He's kind of throwing a lot of pitches. But he's probably telling me he did bounce back a great job because his first inning wasn't up to usually what Russ does. And so it was nice to see him to be able to at least get through 2 2/3 and compete for us and give us, a good chance. And we've scored some runs, so that's great. I think Russ did a good job today because, you can ask him. He'll tell you he didn't have his best stuff today, but he was able to go out there and compete and do a good job.
Well, we'll take a quick break as new pitcher into the game is Cole Zimmerman. We'll let him warm up and take a quick break on Larks Network. Cole Zimmerman to the mound, making his 6th appearance this year. His 6th one in relief, no starts. He's 2-1 on the year, has an ERA of 4.4. The first guy he faces is the top of the order, Bryce McKee, the center fielder. His 3rd plate appearance is 1-for-1 with a single and a walk. Zimmerman, the southpaw, delivers a fastball, 1-0. A change of pitchers for the Larks, going from a righty who throws a lot of off speed to a lefty who has a lot of velocity on that fastball. Zimmerman will look to confuse the Outlaws as they bring their 6th hitter of the inning to the plate. Runner on first, 2 away in the bottom of the 3rd. A fastball from Zimmerman misses low, 2-0. Zimmerman, a Hayes native, played at TMP and has spent the past 2 years at Fort Hays State University. This is his first year in the Larks uniform. 2 balls and no strikes, so go from the stretch as that runner's at first. Delivers one right down the pipe for a called strike 1. 2 balls and 1 strike. Do it for the Larks in the 4th inning will be Kavanaugh, Hutchison, and Wyeth after a 10-hitter in the 3rd. Turf field here with a dirt mound. You pitched on a turf mound yesterday, Drew. Do you have a preference whether you're pitching on turf or on dirt?
My whole life I kind of grew up throwing on turf mounds because we had a lot of turf fields in Indiana with this big sports complex. So throwing on turf isn't really a problem. It's great to throw on dirt too. Actually, one plus side for the turf is you don't get a big hole like in the landing spot or on the rubber. So that's actually a positive for the turf, but every now and then you can slip. But I found that yesterday I didn't really have a problem with that. So I usually just try not to worry too much about the mound because that's something I can't control and just try to do what I can do and just try to make pitches.
It's a full count after a foul ball. Cole Zimmerman 1 strike away from ending the inning, and he does just that. Strikes out number 3 leaves a runner on first, faces one guy, gets him out, and that's strikeout number 18 on the season. We'll head to the fourth inning. Larks up by 2. This is Carson Ackerman on the call, and I've been joined by Drew Burr. Drew, thanks for being on the mic today.
Yep, thanks for having me. It was great. Nice talking to you.
To the Larks Network.
Top of the fourth we go here on Larks Network. Leading it off is Matt Kavanaugh, still without our camera here due to the rain yesterday against the Saints. Took some damage. We'll get a replacement part and hopefully be able to get some live stream video going when we get back to Hayes. We'll stream audio for the rest of this game. The delivery to Matt Kavanaugh misses the zone again. Matt on the day, 0 for 0, has been hit by a pitch twice and scored in the third inning, part of that 4-run inning, the last one. New pitcher into the game is Braden Barker. Delivers another outside pitch. Count moves again. Barker making appearance number 9 this season in the league. Has an ERA of 8.4, has gone 17 innings. All his appearances are in relief. Due up is Hutchison, Wyeth, and Cooper. Larks up by 2, and the delivery to Cav is above the letters. It will be a 5-pitch walk to start the 4th inning. So he's made 3 plate appearances, reached base 3 times, but none of them will go as an at-bat in the stat book since it's been 2 hit-by pitches and a walk. Runner aboard at first. The second straight inning the Larks have started off with a leadoff runner. We move to Palmer Hutchison. Another Hayes native gets a called strike on him. Hutch on the day 0 for 1 with a flyout and a walk. Base coaches for Hayes today. It's Frank Leal, the head coach in his 38th season at third base, and Bryce Baumward, his first year coaching with the Larks at first base. Pickoff move got Matt Kavanaugh a little slow back to the bag, but the throw was away from him, so he's in safely. We'll stay at 0-1 to Palmer Hutchison, who played his first year for the Kansas City, Kansas Community College Blue Devils. Palmer played in 17 games in Kansas City, batted .269, sends a fly ball to deep center field. It is going to be over the fence. It's his second home run in 2 days. Palmer is coming alive here late in the season. He had a batting average under 200 just a little bit ago and has turned it around, come around hot, has 3 RBIs the past 2 days, 2 home runs, and Hutch heads back to the dugout, putting the Larks up by 4 runs. Nice swing, looked good off the bat, and the outfielders just kept looking at it as it moved across the Colorado Springs sky. So clear the bases, put the Larks up by 4, and there's still nobody out as Jacob Wyeth is to the dish. This is an off speed that hits in front of the plate on the turf. Hutch is now 1 for 2 on the day, picks up 2 RBIs on one swing of the bat, and Kavanaugh scores for the second time today. For Matt Cav, that is the 15th time he scored, and for Palmer Hutchison, that is RBIs number 3 and 4. Wyeth flies out to right field on a couple of pitches, and there is now 1 away. High-scoring game through the first 3 innings, and now 1 away in the 4th. Larks have scored in every inning so far. We'll move to Sean Cooper, who on the day is 1 for 1 with a single and a walk. Barker plays at the University of Colorado Springs, and his first pitch to the right fielder from Cochise College is grounded slowly up the middle. Rizdal moves to his right and throws across his body to Scholes. 2 straight outs for the Larks. Bases empty, 2 away. Larks up 9-5 as Grant Lung makes his way to the plate for the 4th time in 4 innings. He's 0 for 3 on the day with a ground out, a pop-up, and then he reached on an error in the 3rd. He's seen action in every inning in the batter's box and takes an off-speed, missing the zone. 1 ball, no strikes, 2 away. Barker gets set and delivers quickly. It's low and outside, 2-0. Grant Lung joined the Larks last year after playing for Valley Center, played in 4 games in the KCLB tournament, batted .455, and scored 6 times. He leads the team this year in RBIs and runs scored. He has a 3-0 count. Grant was second-team All-League KCLB last year behind the Larks' second baseman from Cochise College, Jimmy DeLeon, and Grant Lung is aboard for the second time today, this time on a walk. Runner on first, 2 away to Leo Jimini in the 2-hole. Leo has a single, a walk, and a hit by pitch. Leo from St. Lo, France, moved to Texas 2 years ago to play for Clarendon College Bulldogs. Still has another year of eligibility left there, and he is to the box for the 4th time. Pumps his first delivery a mile high into the air, into the middle of the infield. Ambiel moves behind the second base bag and makes the catch for out number 3. The Larks get 2 off of a home run, and we move to the bottom half of the inning, and Larks up 9-5.
Click that subscribe button. It's completely free. This isn't like a magazine subscription or a TV subscription. You won't get billed, you won't get spam emails, but you will help us reach our goal. Right now we're at about 600 subscribers, but we're trying to reach 1,000 subscribers. We have thousands of views from this season, but only 600 subscribers. Make sure to subscribe when you're watching if you haven't yet. When you hit that button, the Larks will show up in your subscription section of your account. That's it. No fees, no payments, no registration or information. Share the Larks YouTube page with your friends and tune into our broadcast. Thank you for watching our YouTube channel, supporting the team, and subscribing. The Larks have the best fans, and we're grateful for Larks Nation. Now, let's get back to the game.
Bottom of the fourth, Cole Zimmerman back to the mound after replacing Rustin Hayes after 3 2/3 innings. Leading it off for the Outlaws will be the two-hole Kit Whittington, 1 for 2 in the day with a ground out and a single, along with a run scored. It's his first look out of the southpaw. Cole stands at 6'4". The southpaw made 4 appearances this last year for Fort Hays State and 10 in his freshman year. Still has 3 years of eligibility left for the Tigers. 1-0 is the count as this one misses inside. Cole struck out 9 guys this last year, 17 in his freshman year. Has an 0-7 record at Fort Hays, and an 11-2 record in high school through 19 appearances. Gets a foul ball out of Wigington, the DH 1-1. Due up is Gregory, Olson, and Bates. This one is chopped over to the right side, Baltimore style. Grant Lung moves in and throws out the runner. 1 up, 1 down for Cole Zimmerman. He's retired both batters he faces. And we'll move to Riley Gregory, the third baseman in the 3-hole. 0 for 1 today, reaching on an error in the second, driving in a run on a sacrifice fly in the first. Zimmerman will go from a small windup. Lefty versus righty, fires in a fastball below the knees over the plate, 1-0. Outlaws scored 3 in the first, none in the second, bounced back with 2 in the third. Second delivery is popped over to the right side, over the Larks dugout and way out of play, 1-1. Olson on deck, Bates in the hole for Colorado Springs. Both teams have now played 2 pitchers through the first 4 innings. This one is lined above Grant Lung into the gap in right center field. Cooper and Jaminian move towards it. The runner rounds first. Jaminian grabs it at the wall, and it's a stand-up double with 1 away for Gregory. Second straight time he's reached base on his first hit today. Runner in scoring position. That one dropped and rolled between the 330 sign and the 380 sign in right center field. Olson to the box. He's 1 for 2 in the day, striking out in the second against Russ, singling against Hayes in the first, and scoring in the same inning. Hayes was down 3-2 moving into the second inning, got their lead back, and haven't looked back. Changeup from Cole Zimmerman misses outside, 1 ball and no strikes. Second delivery misses his zone. Cole is one of 5 Fort Hays State Tigers on the Larks roster, along with Corbin Treslow, who's playing first base, Patty Walsh, who's in the pen, Jacob Enns, who's also in the pen, and Ryan Reuter, who is been courtesy running for Jacob Wyatt. This one misses the zone low, 3-0. Cole Zimmerman of 4 Hays natives on the roster, 1 of 2 TMP Monarchs, along with Ryan Reuter. The other 2 are Palmer Hutchison, who's playing third base, and Trey Riggs, who's also in the pen along with Walsh and Enns. 4 pitches and a walk for Cole Zimmerman. 2 base runners, 1 away in the bottom of the 4th inning. For Zimmy, that is walk number 8 this year. 2 on, 1 out. Larks up by 4 as Alex Bates makes his way to the dish, 1 for 1 with a single, a run scored, and a walk. Zimmerman has allowed 8 hits this year through 10 2/3 innings. 5 straight balls for Zimmy. He has an opponent batting average of 189, one of the team leaders, as all his appearances have been in relief. When balls are put in play against Cole, that batting average moves to 350. Has gotten 31 swing and misses out of opponents this year, most of those on off speed, and he's faced 49 guys. 2-0. About 60% of Cole's pitches are strikes. That hasn't been the case today. He'll look to bounce back and get a strike here after 6 straight balls.
Goes from the stretch. This one just inside. 7 straight balls, 3-0. It's Olsen on first, Gregory at second, Bates at the plate, Scholes on deck, and Dedrick in the hole for the Outlaws. And it is 8 straight balls for Cole Zimmerman. Back-to-back walks. That's number 9 on the season. And the bases are loaded with 1 away. Larks fans, make sure you hit the subscribe button. Click that notification bell. You'll get notified each time we go live for every game this season. Also, follow the Larks on Twitter for game updates and news at HaysLarksBB. And follow on Facebook for this day in Larks history and winners of the Larks raffle along with game scores. Zimmerman breaks his ball streak and gets this one in the zone for a called strike against Scholes, the first baseman. Since everybody's on base, Cole can go back to the windup, and he does just that. His second delivery is a fastball outside, 1-1. In high school, Cole held his opponents to a batting average of 145, struck out double the guys he walked, walking 45 and striking out 105. The 1-1 is grounded over the right side, pass long to Sean Cooper. 1 scores, and the runners are going to be held. Everywhere else, scoring is Gregory from third base. First time he scores today, and picking up the RBI for the second time is Scholes, his first hit. Zimmerman picks up earned run this year, number 5, I believe. Number 6. First pitch to Braden Dedrick is hit to right field. Sean Cooper gets under it. The cutoff is to Grant Lung, but he won't throw home. Another run scores. It is now a 9-7 lead for the Larks. 2 away, 2 in scoring, 2 on in the corners for Cole Zimmerman. Sacrifice fly for Braden Dedrick. That's his second one today. And a sacrifice bunt in the third. He has now a sacrifice fly. He's now 0 for 1 with an RBI. Zimmerman gets set, goes from the stretch. It's grounded to Palmer Hutchison, who dives for it. He gets under his glove. Runners advance 90 feet, and scoring is Bates for the second time today. The Larks are up by just 1. A lot of runs compared to yesterday when the Larks were able to hold the Saints to just 2 runs. The 1 run that they scored off Drew Burr was unearned, and then the run they got off of Zach Furniture in the 9th was one that was controversial as a foul ball advanced the runner as the umpire called it a ball when it hit the bat. Called strike right down the pipe to Justin Risdall, who's 0 for 1 today with a strikeout and a walk. Duo for the Larks in the 5th will be Divis, Pearson, and Truslow. The 0-1 delivery is sent up the middle on a line ball, and Leo Jiminian gets to it quickly to keep the runners on the bases. Bases loaded, 2 away. To the bottom of the order, Hayden Ambiel, third hit that Cole has allowed this inning. Movement for Hayes in the bullpen. It is Trey Riggs, a righty. Warming up with Max McGuire, who's getting the day off yesterday after getting the start behind the plate. Larks have alternated between Jacob White, the LSU commit, and Max McGuire, the Doane College player. Check swing, and it will be a strike saying he went. Hambiel at the plate, 1 for 2 with 2 RBIs, a single and a groundout. This one, Zimmerman sends an off-speed on a slider into the zone for a call strike 2. No balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, bases jacked in the bottom of the 4th. Larks up 9-8 against the Outlaws. Zimmerman will get set, go from the windup. Pitch number 3 is a fastball off the turf. Wyeth blocks it, looks to runner back to third base. This is the Larks' third look at the Outlaws this year. And the Larks went 2-0 against them, winning 11-1 in game number 1, then 8-1 in game number 2. This one much different, as 17 runs have scored, and Cole Zimmerman misses the zone on a close one here. 2 balls and 2 strikes with 2 away. About an hour and a half into this game through the first 4 innings. Off speed from Zimmerman outside. Wyeth tries to frame it. Ambiel has worked a full count. Important pitch for Cole Zimmerman, as it'll be a payoff one. Doesn't want to walk in a run, but doesn't want to give Ambiel something good to hit. With the bases loaded, runners take off. Zimmerman delivers one that's outside, and Ambiel reaches, trying to stay alive. We'll have a 7-pitch at bat, and Zimmerman will get a second payoff pitch. Big gap up the middle as Grant Long has shifted to his left and back. Runners take off again. Payoff pitch number 2 is grounded to Matt Cavanaugh, with the runner taking off from first. He will go to first and throw out Hayden Ambiel. Cole Zimmerman allows 3 runs but leaves 2 on base. Larks go to the 5th inning up 9-8. You're tuned into Larks Network. Top of the 5th we go. Corbin Truslow leads it off. It was actually not Truslow, Wyatt Divis. 2 pitches in a single. 3rd single of the day for Divis. He's 3 for 4 with a run scored. Runner on first base with nobody out to Cameron Pearson, the left fielder. Cam sends a pop-up into shallow right field. Bates moves in and gets the catch for out number 1. Pearson now 2 for 4 on the day. So now we'll move to Truslow, 0 for 2 with a hit by pitch, a fly out and a ground out. Larks up 9-8 in the top of the 5th. And they're the 4th time through their order, about halfway through it. Still Barker on the mound, righty versus lefty.
His first delivery to Truslow is inside and low. Divis takes off for second base, and he's aboard safely. Runner in scoring position with a 1-0 count and one away to Corbin Truslow. On deck is Matt Cavanaugh in the hole, Palmer Hutchison. Barker gets set. He'll go from the stretch trying to keep Divis at second base. This one above the letters to Truslow 1-0 becomes 2-0. Divis is 3 for 4. He's already scored once. He's in scoring position with a powerful hitter at the plate. We'll see if Corbin Truslow can take advantage of the situation. He sends a fly ball high to left center field. All the outfielders are at the wall, and it'll go over the fence. It's a 2-run shot for Corbin Truslow. Larks move to an 11-8 lead, scoring in double digits in every inning but the second. For Big Trust, that is home run number 3 on the year. RBI 17 and 18. Runs scored on the day number 2, and on the season 14. Divis just scored for the 19th time this year. Bases cleared, one away after a long ball from Truslow, the second home run of the day for Hayes, both to the left field. So move to Matt Cavanaugh, 0 for 0 on the day after 3 plate appearances, a walk, and he's been plunked twice. Pitch number 2 is above the letters. He's up in the count, 2 balls and no strikes. Truslow has shown a lot of power this year. Came to this one with a slugging percentage just under 500, and after that home run, it'll jump above it. Cavanaugh swings and tips this one off the end of his bat, 2-1 count. Matt yesterday went 2 for 5 with a run scored, and he also drove in a run. He's batting .406 with a slugging of .469. This one close to his eyes, inside, 3-1. Matt has been solid defensively all year for the Larks. You heard Drew Burr talk about it earlier, about the Larks defense. Matt Cavanaugh been a leader for that defense, and he sends pitch number 5 of the at-bat to left field. He's aboard for the 4th straight time, this one at first hit. He's now 1 for 1 on the day. Runner on first, one away to Palmer Hutchison, who's coming alive here for the Larks. 1 for 2 on the day with a walk, a 2-run shot, and a flyout. Infield playing a little bit more in now with a double play situation on the table. Barker gets set, delivers inside at the feet of Hutch, 1-0. Due up for the Outlaws in the bottom of the inning will be the top of the order. 1-0 becomes 2-0 as this one hits off the plate. Two balls, no strikes, one away. On deck is Jacob Wyeth in the hole, Sean Cooper. Hutchison reaches down low for this one, grounds it softly to the third baseman for 1, who throws to the second baseman and gets Cavanaugh out, but Risdall hesitated on second base. Could have had a double play had he not pump faked. Hutchison reaches for the 3rd time today, this time on a fielder's choice. 2 away, Hutchison at first base to Jacob Wyeth, who flew out in the last inning, walked in the 3rd, and struck out in the 1st. Jacob leads the team in slugging percentage with .674. Bats just under 400, has 3 home runs, 16 RBIs, and 3 doubles. Hutch gets his lead at first. Barker takes a look over his left shoulder at him. Gets set on the mound and will go to Jacob Wyeth. This one above the letters. They'll throw at Hutchison at first base. The tag was late, 2-0. Let's see if the Larks want to bring back Cole Zimmerman for the bottom of the 5th after warming up Trey Riggs. The 2-0 to Wyeth outside over the plate for a called strike 1. 2 balls in 1 strike, 2 away. High scoring game, 19 runs have come across today. A lot of runners left on base. Just a lot of action in an offensively favored game. 2-1 becomes a hitter's count for Wyeth. This one high and inside from Barker. Five pitches for Jacob Wyeth's second walk of the day. There's 2 on with 2 outs. Hutchison at second. Wyeth out first as Sean Cooper makes his way to the plate. And we'll get a courtesy runner for the catcher. It's Ryan Reuter. Righty versus lefty. Barker, a redshirt freshman out of Loveland, Colorado, his 1-0 for the University of Colorado, Colorado Springs. Outside on a fastball, 1-0 to Cooper. He was the 2018 RH Preps Male Athlete of the Year, and for the same organization was the Pitcher of the Year that same year, and was an All-State honorable mention. Sean Cooper grounds one at Frank Liu, tries to field it and loses his balance. Shares a smile with his team, gets some applause from the Larks faithful who made the trip from Hayes to Colorado, and Cooper gets back in the box after having a laugh, 1-1. Reuter takes a big lead at first base. Hutchison with a small one. The 1-1 delivered to Sean Cooper from Barker will be waited on as he takes a couple looks at Hutchison, nods at his catcher, delivers inside on a heater, 2-1. It's the bottom of the order. Sean is 1 for 2 in the day with a ground out, a walk, and a single. Scored and also drove in a run. 2-1 becomes 2-2 as this one paints the outside bottom corner. Barker shakes off 2 signs, agrees on number 3, and will deliver to Coop. Cooper sends it opposite field in the gap in left center field. The outfielders aren't going to be able to get to it. Palmer Hutchison trots home. Sean Cooper will stop at second base. Ryan Reuter is sent home. The throw is to third. Reuter scores for the second time today, and Sean Cooper picks up RBIs number 2 and 3 on the day. Hutchison scored for the second time today, and Wyeth, represented by Ryan Reuter, also scores for the second time. Larks have now scored for this inning. They're up 13-9, or excuse me, 13-8. For Sean, that is RBIs number 11 and 12. First delivered to Grant Lung is outside, 1-0. Runner at second base is Sean Cooper. Lung, in his 5th inning, has made 5 plate appearances now. Second delivery to him misses low. Long grounded out in the first, popped up in the second, reached on there in the third, walked in the fourth, and came around to score in that 3rd inning. This one misses just outside. 2-1 count. Delivery number 4 too long is inside and low. Hitters count for the second baseman from Arizona. Three balls, one strike, two away. Long pops up, pitch number 5. Sean Cooper takes off with 2 outs, and it'll be secured by Olsen. Larks get 4 in the 5th, and we move to the bottom half. Larks up by 5.
Hey Larks fans, click that subscribe button. It's completely free. This isn't like a magazine subscription or a TV subscription. You won't get billed, you won't get spam emails, but you will help us reach our goal. Right now we're at about 600 subscribers, but we're trying to reach 1,000 subscribers. We have thousands of views from this season, but only 600 subscribers. Make sure to subscribe when you're watching if you haven't yet. When you hit that button, the Larks will show up in your subscription section of your account. That's it. No fees, no payments, no registration or information. Share the Larks YouTube page with your friends and tune into our broadcast. Thank you for watching our YouTube channel, supporting the team, and subscribing. The Larks have the best fans and we're grateful for Larks Nation. Now, let's get back to the game.
Bottom of the 5th we go. Leading it off for the Outlaws against Cole Zimmerman is number 17, who is pinch hitting. It's Mitchell Shaw into the box, replacing Bryce McKee. First pitch to him is inside, 1-0. Shaw, a infielder from New Mexico Highlands University, replacing the center fielder from the University of Colorado, Colorado Springs. Defensively for Hayes here in the 5th inning is Pearson, Jeminian, and Cooper in the outfield. Hutchison, Kavanaugh, Long, and Trussell in the infield. Wyeth behind the dish. Zimmerman on the mound. Gets a strike there, swinging, 1-1. One ball, one strike becomes 1 ball and 2 strikes after Zimmerman gets a fastball in the zone. Strikeout for Cole Zimmerman, number 2 on the day. There is 1 away in the bottom of the 5th. We'll move to the DH, Kit Wigington, batting in the 2-hole. That was the pinch hitter for Kit Wigington, not Bryce McKee. We're moving to Riley Gregory, who is 1 for 2 in the day with a double, a run driven in, a run scored, and reaching on an E5 in the second, and the sacrifice fly in the first. Ground to second pitch to Corbin Truslow, who tosses it to Zimmerman, his teammate at Fort Hays and the Larks. Zimmerman tags the bag to record out number 2. 2 up, 2 down for the Outlaws to start the 5th inning. Move to the cleanup hitter, Justin Olsen, 1 for 2 in the day with a single, a strikeout, and a walk. This will be his second look at Cole Zimmerman today. Movement in the pen for the Outlaws. It's a righty. Infield shifts a little bit right on the right side versus the lefty. Zimmerman goes from the windup, lefty versus lefty. This one an off speed that misses low and outside for a ball. Larks up 13-8 in the bottom of the 5th. 2 away, bases empty. Zimmerman goes from the windup. This one is hit hard to right field. Sean Cooper is going to watch it move over the fence. It's a home run for Justin Olson in the 5th inning. Solo Sean makes it a 13-9 game. Olson scores for the 2nd time today and picks up his first RBI. It's the first home run Cole Zimmerman has allowed today. Or excuse me, this season, but also today. For Olson, that is home run number 2 on the season. RBI number 14, run scored number 23. First pitch to Alex Bates is in the zone for a called strike. Larks have scored 2 in the 1st, 1 in the 2nd, 4 in the 3rd, 2 in the 4th, 4 in the 5th. Outlaws got 3 in the 1st, silent in the 2nd, 2 in the 3rd, 3 in the 4th, 1 in the 5th here. 1-1 to Bates, who's 1 for 1 with a single, 2 walks, and 2 runs scored. Zimmerman steps his back foot off the rubber and will go from the windup. One's delivery, all speed outside and low. Due up for the Larks in the 6th is Jeminian, Divis, and Pearson. A 2-1 is found out of play, 2 balls and 2 strikes. On deck is Scholes and the whole Dedrick. Zimmerman gets set. Again goes from the windup. The 2's delivery way inside. Almost hit the shins of Bates. Full count. That home run off of Olson. Closer to the 330 side than the 380 side in center field, but it was still a moon shot, and he knew it off the bat, and so did Sean Cooper in right field. Zimmerman delivers his payoff pitch. It's in the zone for a called strike 3. A nice pitch started off outside and moved into the zone. So after 22 runs and 2 hours through the first 5 innings, we move to the 6th. Larks up by 4. Top of the 6th for Leo Jeminian, who will lead off the inning. It's Barker still on the mound versus the Larks. Jeminian played for the French junior national team and has gotten some notice from the French national team, the U18 team, and I know they have expressed interest in him to play in the World Baseball Classic next year. He fouls his second delivery off. His count is at 1-1. Leo on the day is 1 for 2 with a hit by pitch, a walk, a single and a pop-up, a run scored, and a run driven in. This one off the turf, 2 balls and 1 strike. On deck is Wyatt Divis and the hole Cameron Pearson. Wind picking up here in Colorado Springs. Dominion swings at 1 above the letters, pops it over the Larks dugout, 2-2. 2 balls and 2 strikes to today's center fielder batting in the 2 spot. A 2's delivery to Leo off the turf. He works his way into a full count. Larks order going right left through the order. Same thing they did yesterday, and it worked yesterday against the Saints. We'll see if they can continue their success here against the Outlaws today. They're 2-0 against the Outlaws this season. When you combine the 2 scores of the first 2 games, the Larks won 19-2. This one is a 13-9 game, and Leo is aboard on 6 pitches. His second walk of the day and a leadoff base runner for the guy who leads the Larks in stolen bases. We'll move to Wyatt Divis, who has 2 singles in the first 2 innings, struck out in the 3rd, didn't bat in the 4th, and then in the 5th, he started off the inning with a single. Check over at Dominion. He's in safely head first. Divis has scored once today, 18 times this year, has driven in 12 runs, and has 6 extra base hits. Fastball misses outside to Divis. Outlaws will be down to their final 12 outs in the bottom half of the inning as Trey Riggs is getting loose for Hayes. Barker looks at Dominion, gets a sign, gives him a nod, and delivers outside. 2 straight balls outside to Wyatt Divis. Wind really picking up here. Wasn't much wind yesterday. As the wind moves into left field, we'll see if that has any effect on balls hit that way. Leo takes off, and he is going to be in a mile ahead of the throw, advancing into scoring position. So he continues to add to his stolen base total today. That's his second base he's stolen, number 13 this year. 2 balls and 1 strike. On deck is Pearson and the whole trust low for Hayes. Barker looks at Dominion with a small lead, delivers to Divis, again outside, a hitter's count for number 16. Divis has drawn 18 walks this year. 1 ball away from making it 19, but we'll see if he gets something to hit here on pitch number 5. And it's something he takes over the plate for a called strike 2. It's a full count. This is game 1 of 2 against the Outlaws here in Colorado Springs. Larks will be back tomorrow for an afternoon game. First pitch at 1 Mountain Time. Divis pops this one up out of play. He'll stay at a full count for pitch number 7 of the at-bats. 13-9 here in the top of the 6th inning. The most runs the Larks have scored this road trip. Payoff pitch number 2 found back at the backstop. And Divis will get a 3rd payoff pitch and an 8-pitch at-bat. Barker looks at Dominion, goes from the stretch, and Divis is aboard on an 8-pitch walk, number 19 on the season. He leads the team.
Back-to-back walks for the Larks to start off the 6th inning. There's 2 on with nobody out. We'll move to Cameron Pearson in the cleanup spot. Going to the righty. Cam on the day 2 for 4 with a flyout, a pop-up, and 2 singles. He's the only guy on the roster today without an RBI or a run scored. One of 2 guys without a run scored. RBIs have come off the bat. Sean Cooper with 3, Hutchison with 2, Truslow, Jeminian, and Lung with 1. Pearson wants time called before he gets pitch number 2 down the count. No balls and 1 strike. Pearson leads the team in home runs. He has 4. Sends this one over the shortstop head. And Leo Jeminian will round third. And Pearson now picks up an RBI. Every guy in the order has either a run scored or an RBI or both. Grant Lung gets greedy trying to go to third. No, excuse me, that is Wyatt Divis. Grant Lung hasn't hit this inning. I saw the blue helmet and the chain and got confused. Divis heads back to the dugout for out number 1. But scoring was Jeminian for the 2nd time today, and Pearson picks up an RBI. Pearson now has 14 on the season, and Leo has 20 runs scored this year. He is now tied with Grant Lung for the team lead. They'll check over at Cam. He slides in safely. Pearson at first base. Truslow at the plate. Corbin had a long ball in the 5th inning. Grounded out in the 1st, got hit by a pitch in the 3rd, and then flew out to end the 3rd. He hits this one hard to right center field. McKee and Bates move back, and Corbin Truslow has 2 home runs today. There was a solo shot in the last inning, and this one is a 2-run shot. He is now 2 for 4 on the day with 2 home runs. He puts the Larks up by 7. They're up 16-9 against the Colorado Springs Outlaws. Corbin has scored 3 times today. And that one was gone off the bat. Outfielders chased it to the warning track and then jumped as it went over the fence. Larks have scored double digits in every inning but the 2nd. And that continues here in the 6th. Base is empty, 1 away to Matt Cavanaugh. Larks have now homered 3 times today, 2 from Truslow and 1 from Palmer Hutchison. We'll get time called as the coach for the Outlaws makes his way to the mound, doesn't take the ball from Barker, and then motions to the bullpen. We'll see if it's a day for Barker or not. And a new pitcher comes out of the bullpen for the Colorado Springs Outlaws. It looks like number 7, Jeremy Onken from the University of Colorado Springs. It's a day for Barker. Larks up by 7. Will allow the new pitcher to warm up. Top of the 6th, one away, bases empty to Matt Cavanaugh. Cavanaugh's walked once, got hit by 2 pitches, and singled. Been aboard all 4 times. This is Onken's 10th appearance this season. But on the mound, it is appearance, again, number 10. He's made 10 batting and 10 pitching. Pitched against the Larks on Sunday, July 28th, went 2 innings and struck out 4 and allowed 1 hit, no earned runs. 1-2 is the count on Matt Cav. Onken has an ERA of 3.2 with a whip of 1.6, has allowed 25 hits and struck out just as many. Gets a swing and a miss for Matt Cavanaugh. It's the first time the Cowboy will head back to the dugout today. Onken committed to the University of Utah at a high school and now is playing at the University of Colorado Springs. Made 1 appearance there and has finished with an ERA after that 1 appearance of 6.75. 2 away, bases empty. Palmer Hutchison takes a strike, 1 called. Hutch on the day, 1 for 3 with a fly out of fielder's choice, a walk, and a 2-run shot in the 4th inning. Larks up by 7 in the delivery to Hutch outside and high on a fastball, 1-1. Due up for the Outlaws in the bottom of the inning will be Scholes, Dedrick, and Risdall. Righty versus righty. The one's delivery is fouled off the inside of the bat of Hutchison on a check swing. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 away in the top half of the 6th. Onken gets set, delivers to Hutchison, low, 2-2. On deck is Jacob Wyeth in the hole, Sean Cooper. Larks have already scored 3 in this inning, thanks to a home run from Corbin Truslow and a single from Cameron Pearson. Full count on Hutchison as this one is low and inside. Middle of the infield shifted in at the second base spot, and Hutchison is way ahead of this one, and he goes down on strikes for the first time today. Larks get 3 in the 6th. We move to the bottom half. Larks up 16-9. Bottom of the 6th, Cole Zimmerman on the mound again, delivers a strike one called on Toby Scholes, the first baseman. This one will hit off the number 21 on his back. It's a leadoff base runner for the Outlaws here in the bottom of the 6th inning. Scholes is aboard for the 4th time today, this one on a hit by pitch. He's 1 for 1, 2 walks, a hit by pitch, and a single. Cole Zimmerman delivers a changeup in the zone for a called strike against Braden Dedrick, who's 0 for 1 on the day with a pop-up to Leo Jeminian, a sacrifice bunt, and a sacrifice fly. 0-1 becomes 0-2 as Zimmerman gets a nice one over the outside part of the plate. Trey Riggs is still getting loose in the bullpen for Hayes. This one outside. Dedrick reaches forward, sends it out of play. Sun's starting to peek out here in Colorado Springs. Wind has died down. Turns out to be a pretty good afternoon for baseball as we head into the evening. The 0-2 from Zimmerman, and Dedrick is ahead of it, pulls it towards his dugout. And Larks up 16-9 here in the bottom of the 6th. And the Outlaws had a leadoff base runner. Zimmerman will look to do damage control. Pitch number 4 is high over the plate on a fastball 1-2. On deck is Rizdal and the whole ambule. 1 ball, 2 strikes. It'll be a 5-pitch at bat as Zimmerman gets set on the rubber. Goes from the stretch, lefty versus righty, delivers inside 2-2. Three straight balls from Zimmerman makes it a full count. Larks are tied for first place in the Rocky Mountain Baseball League. The Outlaws are 6 games back. Zimmerman delivers the payoff pitch. It's a called strike 3, and Dedrick is out for the 4th time today. Went away, a nice payoff pitch from Cole Zimmerman. Got exactly what he wanted out of it as we move to the 8-hole. Justin Rizdal, 1 for 2 on the day with a single, a strikeout, and a walk. Rizdal plays at McPherson College in Kansas in the NAIA division. Zimmerman looks at the runner at first, delivers inside, and Rizdal 1-0. Zimmerman has started 19 guys out with a first pitch strike this season. This is a second pitch strike, 1-1. Scholes at first. Zimmerman delivers 1 low, 2-1. Duo for the Larks in the 7th will be Wyeth Cooper and Lung. This one off the turf. Wyeth blocks it, takes a peek at the runner who stays at first base. Hitters count for the second baseman. Time is called as Jacob Wyeth needs to make some adjustments to his equipment. He does just that and gets back behind the plate. Rizdal digs into the righty's box versus the southpaw Zimmerman and will await his hitter's count delivery. 3-1 becomes a full count as Zimmerman catches the outside part of the plate on another important pitch. It's a full count, the second straight for the Outlaws. Payoff pitch, low and just outside. Zimmerman allows another walk. That is number 4 on the day for Zimmerman. Came in for Rustin Hayes in the 3rd inning and struck out McKee to end the inning. We move to the bottom of the order. Hayden Ambiel, the shortstop, who's 1 for 3 with 2 groundouts and a single. 2 on, 1 out in the bottom of the 6th. We'll get time here before Ambiel steps into the box. Cole takes a look at Scholes at second base, looks at Wyeth and delivers. Off the turf, Wyeth secures it, 1-0. It's the bottom of the order, the final guy in the Outlaws' 4th time through the order. Look for something low in the zone for Zimmerman, trying to get an inning-ending double play. He does throw low and gets a swing and a miss out of Ambiel, 1-1. Zimmerman gives Cole some signs, sets up outside. Zimmerman delivers down the middle, apparently above the letters, 2-1. 2 balls, 1 strike, 1 away, 2 on. Larks up by 7. Pitch number 4 at the knees, down the middle of the plate for a called strike 2. Two base runners, neither of them on hits. Scholes was hit by a pitch, and Risdell walked. Cole misses the zone. Full count, 3 straight full counts for Cole Zimmerman. His pitch count is starting to get up, and his 4th inning of work. Looks at Scholes go straight to the stretch. It's lined at Matt Cavanaugh, who fumbles it a little bit, and Corbin Truslow chases the runner back to the bag. No throw from Cavanaugh after the bobble. 2 away, a line drive catch for Matt Cav. And now Ambiel is 1 for 4 on the day. To the batter's box is Aaron Burkhoff from Missouri Science and Technology. His first plate appearance today. He's batting .261 this year with an on-base percentage of .382. His first delivery from Zimmerman is outside, 1-0. Burkhoff is making his 20th appearance this year, has 46 at-bats and 12 hits, 10 singles, a double, and a triple. Slow changeup from Zimmy, misses outside, 2-0. On deck is Mitchell Shaw, who pinch hit for Kit Wigington in the 5th inning. Low and inside, a close call, 3-0. Zimmerman looks at Scholes, who gets his lead, not being held on, and it's his called strike, taking all the way. Is Burkhoff. Burkhoff listed as an infielder. He's hitting for Bryce McKee, the center fielder. 5-pitch walk for Cole Zimmerman, number 2 of the inning, and the bases are loaded with 2 away. Scholes at third, Risdell at second, and Burkhoff at first. Time is called as Frank Leo comes out of the dugout. We'll take a quick pause during the mound visit and see if we get Trey Riggs out of the bullpen.
bases loaded. Cole Zimmerman stays on the mound. It's his second look at Mitchell Shaw, who struck out to start the bottom of the fifth. Slider from Zimmerman misses outside, 1-0. So Trey Riggs will stay in the bullpen as he continues to get loose. Zimmerman from the windup, lefty versus lefty, a fastball popped over the right side. Grant Lung moves in, catches it above his eyes, and that is out number 3. Cole Zimmerman leaves the bases loaded in a scoreless 6th. We move to the 7th. Larks up by 7. This is Carson Ackerman on the call. You're tuned in to Larks Network.
I made it to the game. Rain or shine, I'm gonna be there. If the stands are full, I'll bring a lawn chair. So join me down at the old ballpark. I'll be rooting for the Hayes Larks. Hayes Larks! So join me down at the old ballpark. I'll be rooting for the Hayes Larks. Hayes Larks!
Top of the 7th we go. Leading it off will be Jacob Wyeth against Jeremy Onken in his second inning of work. Wyeth on the day, 0 for 2 with 2 walks, 2 runs scored, a flyout and a strikeout. On deck is Sean Cooper in the hole, Grant Lung. First delivery to Wyeth over the outside part of the plate, a good frame job from the catcher, Dedrick. It's Wyeth's first look at Onken. No balls and 2 strikes. Onken, one of 10 guys from the University of Colorado, Colorado Springs, on the Colorado Springs Outlaws roster this year. The 0-2 is fouled off to the backstop. We'll stay at 0-2 for pitch number 4. If things hold up and Cole Zimmerman is done and Trey Riggs comes in and the Larks get the final 9 outs, Rustin Hayes will pick up the win. But a lot can happen in 3 innings as we've seen through the first 6. Fourth pitch of the at-bat is above the letters, 1 and 2 to the catcher out of Cisco Community College. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Nobody out, nobody on. This delivery above his head, he ducks 2 and 2. This is the Larks' 5th time through the order. We're on the 8 hole. Two's delivery to Jake. He takes outside and high for a full count. We'll see what the LSU can do with his payoff pitch. Played for Baylor, then went to Cisco Community College, and is head to Baton Rouge. His payoff pitch is down the middle. He grounds it to the shortstop, Ambiel, who fields it on his right side of his body, throws across his left. 1 up, 1 down for the Larks to start the 7th. One away for Sean Cooper at the bottom of the order. 2 for 3 on the day with a walk, a single, a double, and a groundout, and has 3 RBIs and a run scored. First pitch to him, he takes inside 1-0. One-0 delivery and misses low, 2-0. Grant Long on deck. It will be his 6th plate appearance of the game through the first 7 innings. Honkin delivers to Cooper over the outside part of the plate on a heater, 2-1. 2 balls, 1 strike, 1 away, bases empty.